Well, there it is, gang. These are all of the comic books I brought home from my local comic book store this past week. I'm going to tell you what I bought and why I bought them. And we're also going to talk about this bad boy right here. Look at that. So big, I can't even get it all on the camera. So if you like comic books, and especially if you like big, expensive comic books, stick around. We're going to have some fun. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghala. My name is Duke, and this is a weekly haul list. And I haven't done one of these for a while, largely for the reason that I was very, very behind in my reading. I still am. And so with these videos, I'm not really going to do a review because most cases I haven't had a chance to read these books yet. In some cases, I'm several issues behind. But I just, it's fun just to tell you what I bought. Maybe you'll see something here you didn't even know was out, and you can get to your local comic book store in time to get it off the shelves before they're sold out. Maybe you see, or more importantly, don't see something here that you love and it came out this past week and I didn't get it. Let me know in the comments below why I should be buying it. And who knows, maybe, if I can find it, if it's still at my shop, if I can get it somewhere else, I'll grab it and I just might love it. You might have made a convert to your favorite book. So we're going to talk about all of that. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the groovy things. We're only about 12 subscribers away from the giveaway drawing. Once I get to 500 subscribers, as long as you leave a comment, you'll be entered, if you're a subscriber, into the giveaway drawing. I'll be giving away 2 Bronze Age mystery boxes, a set of either 10 or possibly 11 Bronze Age comic books. So that's fun. Get in on that. All right, so before we get to the big book, and that's really mostly what I want to talk about this time out. We'll tell you what I did bring home from my local store. And again, for the record, my local store is Dotcom Comics and Collectibles in Freeport, Maine. So this is Batman 89, number 1 of 6. This is sort of a sequel to the Michael Keaton Batman movies, written by Sam Hamm, who was the writer of that movie. So I'm actually as excited for this as I have been for any Batman book in quite a while. So, yeah, if you've already read that, let me know what you thought of it. If, boy, it's hard to find a story page. I keep coming back to that one, which is a lot of talking heads. So, I don't know. More talking heads. Well, I don't know. We'll have to see how that is. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. So if you've read it, let me know what you think. Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries, number 5. Now, I didn't know this was of 12, but I guess it is a limited series now, if it wasn't solicited that way at the onset. But, yeah, I think this is also a digital first. I'm not 100% sure, but I do enjoy these books. My only kind of critique is that the artwork, it's nice, but it feels like a lot of it feels like, and this might not even be a valid complaint, this might not even be true, but it feels like it's done on a computer rather than hand-drawn. A lot of the poses have kind of a sameness to them. But, I mean, all of the characters are right spot-on model. And I really do enjoy this book. I like the old Scooby-Doo team-up book. I like this one, even though they're teaming up every issue with Batman. I'd like to see a little more variety, maybe, but, hey, DC is all about Batman these days. Like 40% of the line every month has Batman in it. The only other thing, I mean, this is obviously a loss leader. It's $2.99. DC probably isn't making any money on this book, but I feel like the book would be better on just regular newsprint than on the slicker paper. And here's another reason why, again, I feel like this is done on a computer, because see how this has got very, very thick lines? This looks to me like it was done on a computer and then just, blown up for that panel. So I don't know. It's a little off-putting every now and again, but I do enjoy that book. Batman Urban Legends. This is my last issue of this. I did drop this after issue 6 at $7.99. This is a hefty price tag for really not a lot. I haven't really loved any of the backup stories, and the original run here, the Chip Zdarsky story that has led off this book, that concludes here with the 6th issue. So starting next month with the 7th issue, I had dropped this from my pull list. Maybe I'll grab it out of the cheapo boxes down the road. But yeah, square-bound book. The idea of Batman Urban Legends, although it's kind of like Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, they're kind of more of the same thing. But the idea isn't a bad one, but just this format, it's just too much. A Bitter Root. This is a book that I initially really enjoyed. It's about a family of monster hunters in 1920s Harlem. And it was really cool to start with, but then it took kind of an unfortunate swing where part of the family went down south, and it had this, all white people are racist kind of overtone to it, which was, off-putting for me. So we're going to have to see. I think this is going to be the issue where I decide if I'm sticking with this thing or if I'm going to drop it. And I believe this was recently optioned for a movie. So I don't know. It does have these neat essays in the back, on the Black experience, and those are usually enlightening, except except when the author is some white academician, and then it is 10 times the all white people are racist. Challenge of the Super Sons. I do love the Super Sons. Issue 5 of 7. Really, the Super Sons is the only place that I can stand Damian. And this is not slick paper. This is decent paper. I like this. I've never liked the heavy, coated paper for a comic book. It's just too much. There's a difference between, and I'm looking forward to this book too as well, Superman 78, which is on the same lines of that Batman 89. But I've never liked the coated paper. It's the difference of, are you making a comic book as a mass market consumer good? Are you aiming at readers? Or are you making a limited edition collectible, aimed at fanboys? And I'm big on the idea that comic books are meant to be read, and they should be in a format that's going to appeal to and be affordable to the widest number of people. But anyway, I can always use more Super Sons. I wouldn't mind if that was a regular ongoing book again. And, if we've got problems with the current, timeline, with Superboy having been aged up, I don't really like that idea, but that appears to be the thing now, and different things going on with Damian. Maybe this could, if we restore the original multiverse, this could maybe be, a continuation of the traditional Earth 1. Call it Earth 56 now, if you want to, because, the Silver Age started in 1956. Call it Earth 56, and just make this the future of that pre-crisis world. That would work for me. Daredevil 33, this is my favorite Marvel book, or at least has been. I am woefully behind in my reading. I'm like 6 or 7 issues behind on this. I need to sit down, do a day, and catch up. But my love of Chip Zdarsky is all about what he's done on this book. Deep Beyond, I'm a couple issues behind on this, but I did read through I don't know, the first 4 or 5 issues or so. This is kind of like a Stargate kind of a thing. And yeah, I don't know. Kind of right on the verge of dropping that as well. Defenders #1. Now, I love the Defenders. I'm a sucker for the Defenders. The problem is they keep doing, Silver Surfer, Submariner, Doctor Strange, and I'm a child of the mid-70s, and so my Defenders is Nighthawk, Valkyrie, Hellcat. So, we'll see. But I just, look, some Galactus. Oh no, it's not Galactus, it's Omnimax. Okay. And yeah, see, now that's not really great storytelling to my mind, as far as panel to panel continuity. I don't know. I should review this one. I got a feeling I'm not going to like it. And it's got this guy who I can't even remember his name. Oh, the Masked Raider. There he is. And, oh, what the hell is this? I don't think Kennebunkport is the Raiders, though. Stephen Strange, I don't think we've met. I'm the Masked Raider of the Kennebunkport Raiders. Question mark. I don't think Kennebunkport is the Raiders. I should know that because back in my newspaper days, Kennebunkport is one of the towns I covered. And of course, Kennebunkport, if this is referring to the school team, they go to Kennebunk High School. There is no Kennebunkport High School. The school district is Kennebunkport, and Arundel. Kennebunkport, I didn't even know this when I opened this up. This is funny. Kennebunkport, most of you probably know as the summer vacation home of George W. Bush and Barbara Bush. And the town was actually very, very protective of the Bush family and their privacy. But that's interesting. That's like just so random and out of nowhere. But again, I used to cover the school district, and I can't remember what their mascot was. But I don't think they were the Raiders. The colors were blue, and the Raider is usually a black. Anyway, this was the Masked Raider is a character who was teased as being, intrinsically important to the future of the Marvel Universe, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. They're finally getting around to using them. All right. Eve, we're on issue 4, and I haven't read any of these yet. And I bought this initially, issue 1, saw the solicitation, kind of fell in love with the cover, with this girl in a post-apocalyptic world trying to find some MacGuffin or some location with a talking teddy bear. I don't know if the teddy bear is still in here. Maybe she's lost the teddy bear by now. But I got to sit down and read these. I'm way behind on this. So if you've read this, let me know. I don't see the teddy bear anywhere. There's been a whole string of books lately with young female protagonist leads, or on the model of Paper Girls, groups of females. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Speaking of females, Fight Club, gotta love me some Frank Cho. All about Frank Cho. Well, there's not much going on there. That's just a full-page splash for no reason. But there you go. There you go. A whole bunch of Frank Cho drawn women running around in their volleyball uniforms. So if that's for you, brother, that's for you. And this is AWA. I say AWA. It's the Artists and Writers Alliance is the name of the company. All right, so that's that. That's what I got this past week. Let me know in the comments below what you got. And so let's talk about this book. Now, again, I can't really fit it all on the screen there. But this is a collection of every Marvel comic that was published the same month as Fantastic Four #1. Now, I've got a few problems with this thing. First off, this is terrible, terrible cover design, if you ask me. As a matter of fact, with my foot, Sheila is still driving me, sainted wife Sheila. And as we were coming back from the store, I had gone to drop off some books and pick up some new ones for grading, and skipped into the retail store while I was there to pick up my books for the week. As we're on the drive home, I held this up to her and I said, "What's the title of this book?" And she said, 961. And I said, "Is that all?" And she said, "August 961?" And I'm like, "Do you see 1961? And she's like, "No." And of course, nobody would. This... you've heard me, bitch about this before, or if you haven't, wait a while, you will. Right now, in fact. But I don't like when the action on the cover obscures the logo, because people need to be able to see the logo to know what the dang thing is. And again, somebody who doesn't know what this is going to wonder what the hell is 961, because all of this over here completely obscures the one. You can just barely see it. Now, I guess if you're looking at the spine, you can figure it out. The book was initially solicited. It was advance solicited. Usually books are solicited, 2.5, 3 months before they go on sale, and this was, 4 months. It was solicited with, down here where you can see the cover for Fantastic Four #1. And on that one, you could see the full 1961. And that would have been a better idea, because even though everybody's seen that cover, and maybe some people might have been, might have mistaken it for another Fantastic Four omnibus, it gives you, I think, a little bit better idea of what was going on. But this is a fantastic idea, reprinting everything that came out that same month as FF #1. And here are all the covers. And of course, Marvel was limited to eight titles a month back then because of their distribution deal with Independent News. And there's more than 8 because some of the titles were bi-monthly. Yeah. Now here's my other complaint. This book's $150. So it was quite an investment. Now, luckily, I get a pretty significant discount at the store. I don't work in the store, but I work for the company that owns the store, grading the books and doing the other things for the online sales. And so I do get a discount. It's probably about, I don't want to say exactly what it is, but not for any particular reason. But it's about what you would pay if you got your books through a mail order dealer and didn't have to pay the postage, the shipping charges. So, it's fairly healthy. Plus, I had a couple of gift cards left over from Christmas to the store that I had been given. So that brought this price down considerable. But it was still for me, a significant purchase. But it just seemed like it was just such a cool idea that I could not resist. But my complaint is that most people, I don't think, are going to spend $150 on this. This isn't going to sell very well. As far as good an idea as it is, and as much potential as it has, you got to get these things out at a price that people can actually afford to buy them. I feel like that's not a $150 book. Even the archive and the Masterworks editions were cheaper. Maybe they weren't quite as much. This is about 500 pages. A 487 there. Yeah, it's about 520 some odd pages. But I feel like that could have been done for a lot less than $150. It could be done in a trade paperback version for a lot less. Even if you did it in 2 volumes, August 1961, Volume 1 and Volume 2, maybe that would have helped. But that's way too expensive, and I'm not going to do that too many other times beyond this once. Now, the other cool thing, the other critique, I should say, I mean, I agree with what they did, which is that they, and you can see here from the table of contents, they ordered the books that are reprinted here in the order they were published, not by cover date, not by alphabetical, not with the Fantastic Four #1 first. And I'm pointing to things like this, but I forgot I was off the camera because old Batman over here is hogging up all the space. But let's point here. Instead of by cover date or alphabetical, they ordered these by the date they were released, but then they don't give you the date they were released, and that would have been interesting to know. I mean, you can go to other resources. You can go to Mike's Amazing World of Comics online and go to his newsstand function and search for August 1961 and filter it to Marvel Comics, and you can get that information. But it would have been nice to just have it here, the actual on-sale date, to know at a glance which of these books were actually on sale the same day as Fantastic Four #1. Now, as for the reproduction, most of it's pretty good, considering that some of these books have never been reprinted before that I know of. And these were probably, I would presume, printed from the actual books. I doubt they have the original artwork still on hand. And so usually when you print them from the original, from the actual comic books, you tend to get a huge loss of detail. But these are okay. These are okay. So a lot of Ditko in here, a lot of Kirby, a lot of Dan DiCarlo on the things like Kathy and Patsy and that kind of stuff. And it's interesting that Stan Lee, you don't even have Dan DeCarlo's, or this is actually Stan Goldberg, excuse me, but you don't even have his name on it, but Stan Lee signed it. Stan Lee had a tendency to sign everything he touched. So that's one way, in the Atlas era, you can get a sense that Stan Lee really, because the legend is that he wrote absolutely everything. Well, there's a pretty good case to be made that unless he put his name on it, he didn't write it. He farmed that out to somebody. And he didn't actually write maybe as much as a lot of people think he did. At that era. I mean, he certainly did in the Marvel Universe era, at least at the beginning of it. So anyway, but other than that, that's a great idea. Now, I have, and this is sort of a little tangent here, but I have long sort of complained that Marvel and DC both, since Marvel ended the Masterworks line, DC ended the Archive line, and the cheaper step cousin, the budget rate showcase line, they really haven't had what I would call a brand identity to any of their collected editions. It all seems kind of random, and everything kind of stands on its own. And I have advocated for quite some time now that DC should co-opt the annual name, because when they put out an annual, it's usually so ancillary to the what's going on in the regular book, and it's usually just not even really a special event anymore. I 9 times out of 10, I just skip the annuals, and they should take the annual name and put out trade paperbacks, smaller ones of 250 pages or whatever the multiple of 4 is that's close to 250, and put out Superman 1961 annual. It would be all the Superman stories from 1961, and you would probably have to have Superman annual 1961 volume 1, volume 2, and I would do it so that there wouldn't be an Action Comics annual. You would publish them chronologically. And you might have to switch things up when you get into the era where you've got continued stories, and they're continued in Action or Superman, not carrying over from one title to the other. Maybe Volume 1 wants to be the Superman stories, Volume 2 wants to be the Action Comic stories. And, if you've got a character, say, Supergirl, and you do a Supergirl annual, it might be more than 1 year because she just for a long time just had that 8-page backup feature in Action Comics, so it would take multiple years to fill out a full 250 page trade paperback. But that's what I would do if I were if I was the grand poobah plenipotentate of DC Comics. But with Marvel, because they had, from the very beginning of the Marvel Universe, from Fantastic Four #1, kind of a cohesive universe, I would do just like this. I would issue trade paperbacks, and they would be chronological, August 1961. And again, you might have to do Volume 1 and Volume 2 to get them down to a price point people could afford. September 1961, October 1961, and print all the books in chronological order, regardless of genre. And then I would skip the reprints when they get into the era in the early 70s and they're doing a lot of reprint titles. I'd skip those except for covers, if there were new covers. And you can go the other way too, I suppose. You could do the Timely era and the Atlas era. But DC, I would do by character, and again, use that annual name, Superman Annual 1961. And for Marvel, I would do chronologically by date, Marvel August 61, September 61, and so on. So let me know in the comments below if you think that's a good idea, or if you think that's a stupid idea. Either way is fine with me. And let me know, what do you think of how DC and Marvel both handle their trade paperback collections, their archival collections? Do you think the omnibuses and things like that are just too darn expensive? Things like this? Would you like to see them a little cheaper? Maybe smaller collections. What would you like to see collected, and how would you unify that brand identity? See, the reason I say do this, chronologically, or at DC, by character, but as an annual for that year, is because you can go forward and backwards in time, and you can have that brand identity that will, for those types of collections, that will carry for a long time. You've got a lot of back catalog that could sustain itself and would have a consistency and look great on a shelf like this. But anyway, that is that book. What do you think? Would you have paid $150 for that? What's the top price you would have paid to get a reprint of every book that was published the same month that Fantastic Four came out? Every Marvel book. Not every single comic book. That would be a much larger volume, and that would be a super omnibus. But anyway, that is that. And these are the books that I bought. Let me know what you bought. And other than that, let me know. Do you like these weekly haul videos? Do you want them to continue? Do you want a little different format or anything? Let me know. I feel like I should be doing more than just the unboxings. But anyway, that's it for this video. Stick around. Come back tomorrow. We'll have more fun, more four-color goodness. But until then, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.